This meeting is being recorded.
I don't like that new feature. She's like yells at you before you even start. Like that.
We're recording already.
What's up? Yeah, no, I know that the lady said this meeting is being recorded and she yelled at me. I'm tracking.
Good morning, friend. How are you?
Good morning, friend. Happy Father's Day yesterday.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you were looked like you had an awesome day, dude.
Yeah, I was good, man. Erica found this adventure to there's like a ship graveyard. I think it's Mallows Bay, where they brought like over 100 World War One or World War II era ships, and then they just sank them years ago. And you can kayak through there. So yeah, it was cool, man.
That's
Did that, and
awesome.
then went to a beach. There's a. It's funny these things that you don't know when you're at the academy, but there's a couple beaches that you can get shark teeth, like little shark teeth, and a couple of the beaches have like megalodon teeth that you could potentially find. Like people found like big, massive fossil teeth. And so we went to a beach and played with the kids for a couple hours, found some shark teeth, and it was good, man.
That's awesome.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Did
Yeah.
you did you get one of these? Did you get a super dad picture?
Uh, so I don't know what it is. My boys are into war for some reason, and not like the card game. Like they're into like drawing wars, and so I got a Father's Day card from them with a lot of tanks and shooting, and I
Yeah.
didn't really know how to interpret that.
You're like, thanks, guys.
Thanks, boys. This is really sweet. And then Maya, of course, my sweet daughter, she's been doing videos, like editing videos and like really creative things. So she made me a video that was pretty rad. So it's good.
Awesome. That's
Yeah, man.
awesome,
But
man.
did your daughter draw that?
She just colored it in.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's like legit.
Yeah, no, she just colored it in, but it's still legit.
It is legit. It is legit. Did you guys do anything fun?
Yeah, my dad came out, so that was pretty cool. Hung out and cooked some burgers. We went to the pool and did a bunch of swimming and played a lot. It was awesome, man. Just
So, random question in
mhm.
all seriousness. When you look into your dad's eyes, do you see disappointment?
No,
All seriousness.
yeah,
Like
I'm
it's a
good.
serious question.
No, I'm good.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
I just was curious because I could imagine your dad looking at you and just being like, hmm.
I hate you.
uh, sorry. I'm sure he's very, very proud.
Yeah. My
I'm proud of you.
my daughter told me a really good joke yesterday.
What was it?
Ready for it?
Yeah.
Why is six afraid of seven?
Because 7, 8, 9.
Ah!
Yes, I love that one. So good.
Here's another one. Here's another one.
Okay. All right.
Why was Tigger in the toilet?
Has something to do with poo. I don't know what it is though.
Because he was looking for poo.
Oh, nice. I like that one.
You
That's
like that
good.
one?
My kids told me one that like a riddle that it actually took me a second. So a ship had 20 passengers and it sank and 24 heads came to the surface. Why?
I don't know. Why?
24 heads. Took me a minute. Took me a minute. I was
Oh,
like, that's pretty good, guys. That's pretty good. You
that
got
is
me.
good. That
Yeah.
is good.
Made me
Well,
think.
made you think about what? Made you think? Did you think?
I am, and I
Um,
focus,
Oh,
and I focus quite a bit.
good transition.
Yeah,
It's good.
right. What are we talking
This
about today, Stu?
this is Filling the Storehouse podcast, and this is the day after um, Father's Day, and we're talking about focus. So that was a really good transition, man. I'm proud of
Hey,
you.
thanks, man. It's like you set it up. It's like a softball that you kind of tossed out there.
So there's this quote from Tony Robbins that gets thrown out a lot from a lot of people, and but I think it's really good, and it's been on my brain a lot. It's been really, I think, on both of our brains a lot because we're in this period of potential transition from the military to uh, uh, an outside career soon, and we're trying to figure out where we need to focus. And the quote goes, "Where focus goes, energy flows," and I think it's pretty powerful, man. There's a lot that goes into that, and we're gonna kind of dive into just this one little quote. Um, but there's a lot of noise in the world, and we can really easily get caught up in the noise. And there's a lot of people that have an influence on us that kind of can bring us into that noise, and so it can be kind of dangerous. I've really tried to focus on this quote, um, because um, I think it's important to really dive down into what what you're taking action on, what like you can actually physically enact yourself, like what your brain can really focus on, because um, that's what you can that's what you can change. That's what you can have an impact on. You can't have an impact on all this other stuff that's going on in the world. So I don't know what we're gonna dive into that. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, exactly what you said, that obviously where you focus, that's where your energy flows, and what that means with as a father, as a husband, as a man of faith, as a naval officer, and as an entrepreneur. But to me, there was a bit of a different spin that also caused me to really focus on, as we're talking about this quote, and to really um, highlight what it meant to me. There's the focus to flow paradigm. That's obvious, right? You focus, your energy flows there. But to me, it also described the nature of the energy, right? And it made me think about what's the nature of the energy, and is your energy positive or negative? Are you self-aware enough to have taken the time to not only analyze and spend time considering what your impact is, what your uh, focus, what your energy is, what you're portraying outward, what you're portraying inward, what you're taking in, what you're telling yourself on a daily basis. What are these things that you focus on, and are you self-aware enough to actually analyze some of that stuff? Because I know for me, even I'm a pretty positive guy, pretty optimistic, but a lot of the things I tell myself, some of my self talk, can be very negative, and whether that's, um, what I think I can accomplish, or as I prepare to have a conversation with somebody, I oftentimes will go into turn it to that most negative and see and kind of play that scenario out instead of highlighting the positive. And the way I interact with my kids, my wife, like it makes an impact. And so, are you self-aware, or do you consider that stuff? And have you asked those people in your sphere of influence their perception of your energy and your attitude that you bring to the table? Because I can tell you, if you're a negative Nancy, and a lot of people do not like the confrontation of being honest with people. But like if you're being, if you're crying about something, and it's really impacting the way that we're looking at maybe a business deal, or just our daily interactions, like I'm going to tell you about that, right? But most people they'll just stop talking to you. or they'll just avoid you, or they'll just be like, hey, hey, should we bring, Stu into the call? Should we bring David into the call? No, I don't want to deal with the negativity. Like those conversations happen, right? And are you the guy they're saying, I don't want to, or you the guy or gal that they're saying they don't want that negativity? Or do they want to bring you in for your
Yeah.
influence, for your attitude, for your, what that energy that you bring? And the next step to that is that energy creating opportunities for you, or is it causing opportunities to flee from? Because if you don't think that that's happening, then you're wrong. If we're putting out garbage content on filling the storehouse, then people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear a couple knuckleheads talk. But if there's value that we're bringing, that we're adding, not only is that, and we don't do this for an agenda, but there is an inherent opportunities that are created, whether it's future guests, whether it's us being asked to be on other shows, whether it's people wanting to invest with us or asking us to invest with them. I mean, that it is happening every single day. And I think there's a power to understanding the nature of your energy and what that's doing, you know, on a daily basis to the opportunities that are presented to you.
Yeah, man. It's your brain is a powerful tool, so you can choose to be positive, or you can choose to be negative. And just like you said, that energy of making that choice, can, man, it can bring so much to your plate.
When there's some
um
stats out there that are really interesting, and this is, I say stats, there's research out there, and some people argue that the vast majority of people could get out of the hospital if they change their mindset, right? I think
yeah.
regret and guilt are two emotions that are key contributors to depression and to sickness. And what is that negativity that you're constantly feeding yourself or that you live in doing to your body? And I'll tell you, I don't, that's a very hard thing to, for me, non-scientifically to quantify, but I will tell you, there is no way in God's green earth that if you're sitting in negativity, that it's not just completely impacting you. And
Yeah.
you see those people that are sitting in positivity, even the people that are sick, potentially terminally sick, just thriving,
Yeah.
A couple of people in our network that names just popped to my head, at least four people in our network that are just super positive, go-getter, powerful people, and all of them have been diagnosed with serious illnesses, injuries. I mean, we've had folks on our podcast that don't have legs, that
Yeah.
are battling cancer, that are just, but they are phenomenal individuals that humble me, because I'm like, dude, I'm pretty healthy, and like, yeah, you're just a better human being than I am.
Yeah, and we're actually going to have a guest on in a couple weeks that um, is going to talk exactly about that, about just this mindset, and how it got her out of this. Um, it's an amazing story, and I'm not gonna talk about it yet, but I'm excited about it. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
That
it,
was a really good preview, by the way. Like, I'm sure our listeners listen to that last bit and are like,
they're
oh
like,
wow, I can't
oh
wait.
yeah, I can't wait for
That
that.
sounds amazing.
So there there are things, I said a little bit about it earlier. There's things that happen outside of our control. So many things that happen outside of our control that that a lot of people focus on. And it's funny to me because you'll be in your work environment, in your office, or around family or something, and they'll like say something. Oh, hey, did you see this about what's going on? Or And I'm just like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Because I choose not to, like, listen to, watch, like, I don't listen to anything on about politics, about like news, like social media. I try not to engage on social media very much, and I'll post some stuff, but I don't really engage on stuff. And even like some of your friends and family, like, gossip, and just there's so much stuff, there's so much noise, there's so many things that have no impact on the outcome of our lives. Like there's so many things that just we can't control. So why focus on those? Because they truly do not have um, an impact on how we handle our own actions. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and I want to be 100% clear, right? Like there are, people allow things like politics to control their emotions, they control their, the conversations that they fill their minds, and they're sitting there watching CNN or Fox or whatever it is that their bent is. And I want to highlight, I don't think there's anything wrong if you're passionate about politics, and there are things going on in this country that are of extreme importance, and there are things that we should be educated on, and there are things that we should take action on, right? I 100% agree with that. But I think what we're talking about is, okay, so if you're passionate about politics, then do something about it,
Yeah.
right? Don't tell me you're passionate about this politician or that politician or this policy or that policy, and then you just sit there and complain about it, right? It's like real estate. We're passionate about real estate. Well, what's the first thing we tell people to do? Take action,
Take
right?
action. Yeah.
Go do. You're not passionate unless you go do a transaction. You go do something about it. So I'm not saying, and Stu's not saying that these things that are potentially um, life changing and are important. We're not saying that they're not. Like we're not into politics. I'm not into social media. I'm not into engaging on a back and forth with someone on Facebook that I've never met. I could care less on what your opinion is if you're just spouting an opinion. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
But if you are passionate about that, and you're passionate about, bullying on social media or whatever it is, like do something about it. Like that's just, so what are you doing about it? You're passionate about, voting rights and politics. Okay, well, go out in your community and do something about it. And then I'll understand, and then I'll know, yep, you're passionate about it, and I can either support you, not support you. We can have a real conversation about it. But what I've been seeing a lot is people are consumed by these things that they're not even willing to take any action on. They just want to talk about it, and they want to voice their opinion, and they want you to validate it. And I just don't have time for that. I don't have
Yeah.
time to be in that all the time, because there's nothing being created from that. There's no action being taken, and there's no intentionality or focus on the things that we can influence. And I think that's the key, right? You take action and be intentional and focus on the things that you can influence, whether it's your values, what you consume, whether that's, purchasing, or what you put in your mind, the conversations that you have, who you hang around with, and what their influence on your life, where we spend our time and with whom. Are you intentional about that? I mean, there are phone calls that I don't take. There are people I don't reach out to. There are things that I don't engage on because I just am not interested, for whatever reason, in spending time with those people. But there are other people that I will pursue like a madman, to be like, I just want some of your time. I
Yeah.
just want some of your time because you are the type of person I want to be like. I want that influence in my life. And so I'm very intentional in seeking those people out. And then what are your daily actions? Like if it's important to you, it'll be on your calendar and it'll be in your checkbook, right? And we always say that.
Yeah.
So what are those daily actions? If you're talking about politics every single day, then go do something. Like I advocate that, and maybe we'll even support you. Like I mean, if you're passionate about it, we need people. Just because we're not passionate about that necessarily at this point, who knows? Maybe Stu's future governor of Colorado, and he just doesn't know it yet because he gets passionate about something. I don't know. I doubt it, and I probably wouldn't vote for him. But I mean, it'd be cool, right? So I just think that if you're gonna spend time with it, if you're gonna focus on it, then you better do something about it, or you're just wasting your time.
Well, and there's some challenge to that too, right? I mean, especially with making some choices on the people that you're interacting with and the people that are in your lives. Some people, like, you don't really have a choice to that they're a part of your life. There might be some people that are really close to you that are negative and that are focused on the wrong stuff, and that could be pretty challenge to make a decision on whether you hang out with those individuals. And sometimes you have to, right? Because maybe they're family, um,
Or like your business
or like your
partner or
business
something.
partner or something like that. um,
But you know those people, right? And
yeah,
and I think the other step that people don't take, or we don't take, is just acknowledging that, and then
yeah,
being intentional in that relationship, right? So hypothetically, you say you're negative Nancy all the time. Well, and I know that, but we have to engage with each other because we've made a commitment to whatever. Well, I can influence that relationship too. So when you start going down a path, if I know I'm going to be in a conversation with Stu, and I know he's going to start complaining about how good looking I am and how not he is. I know that's going to happen.
the price of gas.
The price of gas,
Oh, it's so
whatever.
high right now.
So if you're going to, if I know that, then I go in prepared to drive that conversation, because most
Yeah,
likely you're going to be very, very reactionary in the things that you want to complain about. If I'm very intentional in drawing that, and it can be exhausting, dude, to
yeah,
constantly bring someone back to something positive, but at some point, you're there is some influence you can exert there. But again, it's intentionality, right? You know what you're going to get into. You're going to have these conversations, and so you might as well try to be as positive as possible about it.
yeah. Well, and that there's the talking about actions, and putting stuff on the calendar. We just did a webinar last week with Nina Ferraro and Mary Manthai from Boldly and Co. And that's what they're all about, man. Like, just taking action, like planning out your day, like brain dumping everything, putting everything on a calendar, time blocking, knowing where your zones are, like when you're like at your highest and best, like your green zone, and choosing what to put in those blocks. And that, like, that's powerful, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, what you're doing every single day to take action on the things that are important to you. um you know for David and I, like, we're getting up in the morning, we're time blocking stuff, we're getting into the word, we're reading the Bible. And there's this book called Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And he calls it savers. And we're doing that stuff every single morning. You're taking some meditation time, you're having some silent time thinking. And that's powerful, like that brain, man, just like getting into just thinking, taking some time and diving in there. Affirmations. And this is something that's somewhat new to me, and it kind of sounds like foo woo woo kind of stuff, but like, if you're telling your stuff over and over again, like, it's super super powerful. Visualization, like visualizing, like looking, like, closing your eyes and just visualizing where you want to be in 5 years. I used to do that in flight school. Like, they call it chair flying, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're sitting in your chair and you're flying that mission. You're flying that maneuver. And I mean, it's super powerful stuff. Exercise and reading, writing, scribing, writing down notes, writing down your thoughts on paper. That's all super powerful stuff. And so those are some of the actions that you and I are doing. And man, what a difference it can make.
Yeah, and you also, when you start being intentional about those relationships, there's we're a 2 hour difference, right? And so I drive to the morning, or I'm driving in the morning when you're waking up, and that'd be a quote unquote perfect time for us to have some time to just talk about the business, talk about the day. But I know your morning routine, and I want you to be accountable to that, because I want to be accountable to mine. And so I'm very intentional with not reaching out to you. And that's not the way it's always been. It's not
Yeah.
always been that way. But I'm very intentional to give you that time because I know how important it is to me to get in the word. For me, it's very similar. You get up, you make a cup of coffee, sit down, get in the word. And then in what we're reading, right? We're reading the exact same thing. We're holding each other accountable to do this New Testament, chronological New Testament, 89-day, whatever it is, Bible reading. We've held each other accountable to do a daily Bible reading for a while, have gotten through the Bible, something I've never done, been trying to do for years and years, decades. And when we sat down and had a small group of dudes and we're really focused on doing it, I think I've been through it twice now, twice or three times, which has been something that has been a huge struggle for me. So that accountability and the honoring your morning, but other people's, and I know what you're doing in the morning. So it's very hard for me to be like, hey, I'm going to interrupt him with a call. It's hard for me. And so I think that's a lot of intentionality, not only in the relationship, but also in the process, in the commitment, and the accountability for the morning. And I think that those things are extremely important. And all those things you hit on are all action items that go into, like right now, I put out at work that, hey, outside of today doing our podcast this morning, uh, I intend, now that we're in the summertime and my family's going to be going back to Colorado, my intent is to go to work super early, be in there, in the fives, and then leave at like 2, because I want to be with my kids before I'm not, before we're apart for 5 months.
Yeah.
And that's super, super important to me. So am I going to make that happen? Well, I better. I let the rest of the triad know that that's what I was going to do. And so it's things like that, right? It's things like that. Like, okay, this is on the calendar. I'm letting you guys know. Now I'm accountable to it. And now I have to take action and do it and invest that time with my family, with my wife and my kids. And it's important. And so, but how important is it? Is it on my calendar? And am I making it happen?
Yeah. Last thing I kind of want to hit on for just action steps is making decisions on who you're hanging out with. And David and I got into some mastermind groups, and man, what a change that's made for us in the trajectory of our growth. Not only for our business, but I think personally, as well. Just growth internally on how we're thinking, how our mindset has shifted, and just putting yourself around people that are going to lift you up and that are going to push you to grow with them. And there's other people that you can lift up as well.
Yeah.
So finding those groups, finding those, maybe it's a small group at your church. Maybe it's a Bible group. Maybe it's the War Room Mastermind group. There's so many other mastermind groups that are out there, and find the one that has the same values as you. And what, like, David and I are looking every day at other groups that we can kind of get ourselves into. And maybe that requires for you to write a big check, but I tell you what, it's probably worth it, to surround yourself around some people that are going to lift you up and be positive and push you to grow. So that's something to definitely think about.
Yeah, and I think that those checks hold people back, and they don't even realize what they're holding themselves back from.
Held me back for
It's
a long
too,
time.
yeah, yeah, and it's too expensive, right? And my mindset has shifted significantly to value. Like, what's the value? Is the value greater than that check you're writing? And I think oftentimes when you really sit down, and this goes into kind of my last point, when you take a personal inventory, then you're able to understand where you need growth, and what is the value that potentially a group brings, and what can that do for you? What can that turn you into? Can it turn you into a better someone who analyzes deals better? Well, if that's a fact, then and maybe you get more deals. Well, is that check worth writing? Are you going to make more? Are you going to replace that outflow with deals because you're getting better at your trade? I mean, you have to think of it that way. It doesn't just stop. Most people just stop it. It's too expensive. Well, okay. Like let's really analyze that. And so for for kind of my last point here is to what are the action items from something like this, from a conversation like this? And I think step one, you take a personal inventory of what and who you are allowing to control your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your opinions, your actions. Who are you giving control of your life? And I think asked that way really makes an impact, has made an impact to me, because it's not saying, okay, who are you allowing to influence you? No, who are you giving control of your life over to? Because if I'm sitting here thinking about Stu all day and what did Stu think and what did he say on social media and did I get likes? Did I get thumbs down or happy or frowny faces or emoji laughies with tears? Whatever this stuff is that's controlling your emotions, if that's because a lot of people are controlled by that, dude. A
Yeah.
lot of people are controlled. How many replies do I have to this thing I posted? If that's controlling, I'm not saying you shouldn't look at that. And I'm not saying it's not important. And I'm not saying you shouldn't analyze that potentially from a business perspective or whatever. We do it all the time. What's getting the most traction? It's important. But if that's controlling how you feel about yourself or even impacts how you think throughout the day, then whomever those people are that are literally going like this, they're picking up a cell phone, they look at it, and most of the time they're like, "Oh, Stu wrote something like that's as much thought as they put into it." Well, if you're sitting there dwelling on that, like you're literally giving that person who picked up their cell phone and hit a thumbs up power over your life. And I think we have to think about it that way. I think we have to realize and take an inventory of where our thoughts are going and who we're allowing to completely influence that. And if it's not who you want to control your life, then change it, right? And take a change. But first, you have to understand who you're allowing to do that. And I think it'd be very insightful. Grab a pad of paper and write at the top of it, who controls my life? And then just have an honest conversation with yourself, an honest inventory. And I think the results would be very, very telling. And you might be like, oh man, this isn't good. And hopefully from that, you get to that point and then you can be free of it. You can free that part of your mind, that part of your life, that part of your emotion, and you can reinvest in others and do something positive with it. Or maybe you're just amazing and you're the influencer, and then you can be more intentional about, okay, where should I put my time? I have this gift, where should I be gifting it to meet my personal values, commitments, love, whatever it may be.
A lot of people say that about me. They're like, "Oh
What's that
man,
what's which one?
that I have that Stu Grazier's the influencer that that I have a lot of control over
who
people's
who
mindsets.
who said that? Like
Lots of
who?
people,
Like
lots.
just a proverbial like lots of people?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many I just can't even like name them
Just
all.
name one. Just name one.
Uh, David,
David. I heard about that guy. Good
mm,
looking dude. That's what I heard.
mm,
Good looking dude.
crooked nose,
Mm,
bald head.
bald head. But
Mm-hmm.
it's funny you say that. We have talked about that, right? We have talked about where are we influencing, where are we being influenced, and we've challenged each other with that. Like, why do you care what that person says?
Right.
Because it's not like we're. I mean, we're far from. This is stuff that we talk about because this is stuff that we do. Because I'm like I said at the beginning, am oftentimes ingesting negativity for some reason. My self talk is negative, and so I have to be very intentional. And it impacts the way I react with my kids, and I'm
Yeah.
impatient and the way I treat them, and do I
You're
honor and love
impatient?
them? What's that?
No. You're impatient? No.
Very patient. I'm a very
Yeah.
patient man.
No.
Patience of patience of Job.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Well, and all of this has kind of been filling my brain a lot lately, and it's so interesting how this stuff happens. I was driving to work the other day, and I posted this on Facebook, but I was just I typically will listen to a podcast on the way in to my drive to work. It's about a 45-minute drive, so it gets me a good podcast in. The other morning, I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna listen to some uh, some Christian worship music, and literally like one of the first song, I think it was like the second song that came on, was the song called Control. And it's by 10th Avenue North, which is it's a band that I really like a lot. It's a Christian rock band. And it's titled Control, and it's about, who are you giving control to? And it's a Christian uh, band, and obviously they say that God, you have to give God control. And the lyrics of the song, I got to work and I actually looked up the lyrics, and man, it's so spot on to this conversation. And I'm going to read the lyrics, and then we can kind of hit on it real fast. But it says, God, you don't need me, but somehow you want me. And oh, how you love me. Somehow this frees me up. And to open up my hands and give you control. And I give you control. And he says, I've had these plans that have been shattered and broken, and things that I've hoped for fall through my hands. But God, you have plans. And to redeem and to restore me, you're behind and before me. Oh, help me believe. And think about that a little bit. And if you um, just give that control over to God and rely on Him, like He has plans for you. Like He has plans for you in the future that you know nothing about yet. And if you can wrap that around your little tiny little brain, especially you, David, like a little bitty brain, um, like think about giving that control over to you, giving that control over to the Father, like our Heavenly Father. Man, your world can open up, and that mindset can really change. So I don't know. Think about that a little bit, and it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it is. It is super powerful, and obviously for us and men of faith, that's the just the pinnacle is giving God the full control and bringing that into our houses and bringing it into our minds and where we go and our influence. But I also want to say that if you're not a Christian and this is not part of what you believe in, um, I think that there's still no real strong arguments against the positive influence or the powerful influence. I'm sorry, the powerful influence of just the positivity of focus and what you influence, what you're being influenced by, and who you're influencing. And I'll tell you, I personally listen to, and again for me, because this is who I am. I listen to this song almost every day. It's called "I've Got a Reason" by Nashville Life Music. It's just a very upbeat, gospel-y song. But every single day, that song is playing through my head all day long, and like all day I found myself saying, I've got a reason. And it's all about just this positive, I mean, it's about Jesus, it's about faith, but that's what's playing in my head. So if you're driving to work and you're playing you're listening to some negative things, it will play whether you know it or not. It's playing constantly, the soundtrack in your head over and over and over. So I choose to fill that hamster wheel that continues to play continuously. I choose to put something positive in there because there's a lot of power in that. And ideally it should be outward focused,
Yeah.
unless you're in a significant growth stage, which we all are. But there should be an outward focus on things, on how you can influence and make things better.
A lot of times I have Justin Bieber in my head.
It's because hey, that's great. I have no 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 comment or judgment. If that's how you get down, then that's how you get down, man.
Get down the
That's
Biebs,
good.
man. Get down the Biebs.
You do bring up the Beebs a lot, and
I have
I
a little
just
bit of
have
a man crush, but
I personally don't have not really listened to his music, so I can't even. I listen to that one song. There's a Latin, so that one he does, Despacito, because I like the beat. I like the beat.
some good beats,
There's a
man.
Latin
You
beat
can't
to
you
it.
can't deny the beat.
Hey man, and we dance in my house. We dance, but see, I think of that song, and I think of like being upstairs and the kids, and we're all like Despacito, and we're dancing around and stuff, and that's fun. But in my car, just by myself, I'm not jamming out to the Beebs and singing at the top of my lungs to the Beebs. Well, God bless you, brother, for doing it. Because
Thanks, man.
yeah, just remind me not to drive with you anywhere.
You love driving with me, dude.
You know.
All right. Well, hey, this was a good one. I liked good topic. Good for me at least. It gets me back where I need to be, and I think sometimes you kind of get shifted off course a little bit, and it's good to kind of reel yourself back in and um, make decisions on where we need to focus. So,
Yeah, man, and
stuff, man.
it's always a good inventory, right? It's because I mean, is everything going super positive for us in our business all the time? No, no,
Nope.
or in life, no, it's not. But I think um, it's good to bring it back and focus.
Yep. So, guys and gals, hope everyone had or for the guys out there, hope you had an amazing Father's Day. Hey, focus on being an awesome dad. If you want to focus on something, let's focus on all being awesome dads and, follow what our Heavenly Father has done for us. And hey, share this, like this, give us 5-star reviews, maybe even give David 5-star reviews. I mean, he deserves it every now and then. It'll kind of lift him up a little bit. Um, yeah.
If you would like in the comments, I would find great joy if you would comment on how dumb you think Stu is. Like, I think it would be really cool to read some comments like, wow, 5 stars, great content. Stu, kind of dumb.
Oh man. All right. Well, hey, listen to this, share it with some friends, and most importantly, go fill your storehouse.
Make it a great day, friends. Thank you.
See you.
See you.